Why hello there, fellow electrical engineers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus Elysium. Episode 7, Electronic Furnace, Now We're Cooking. So as you can see by my head, the current priority is to build the electric furnace, build the materials processor, build the creature deterrent, and then a few other things like getting some basic growth hydroponic, or not hydroponic, but like farming plots, a seed grinder, you know, some simple low-level things. And then we'll be moving to the oil flats. So let's go ahead and do it. There we go. So, where we left off, yes. Let's get a little bit of water. Kill a little worm. Wait, oh god, I have no stamina because I have cave sickness and I'm cold. I ran up and I was like, I'll stab you. And then I was like, oh, my arm is stuck. So right at the end of last stream, I did hit level 40, which unlocks the manufacturer tier of stuff, which means we can start to unlock the oil tier junk here, right? I'm not going to spend all the points, but obviously this is going to be insanely helpful when we're trying to take advantage of oil, uranium, and lithium. Okay. So what I want to do is just to make sure that, like, my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. So this is a, for lack of a better term, bug I have seen, where in my test realm this happened too. I was in a cave and it just sort of closed up on me. I can't imagine what it would be like if I didn't have a working pick. Fortunately, I do. So, I'm gonna get through here before heading to sleep. Now, originally, this hole was big enough for a Tusker to fit through. I don't really intend to, like, mine that big. But our Tuskers are out here making a ruckus. And I just wanted to make sure I pet them before we go to sleep, because there's a bit of a bonus in doing that. So we have Tall Paw, and you just leveled up. So I want to race to get you Ore of Warmth, as that is the highest priority. And then once we get Ore of Warmth, I'll start to do your, like, tanking and the like. And both of them have the bovine pack, so they're essentially just pack animals. All right, so we got them pet. Let's check our food and head to sleep. So in terms of our progress for crafting, right? So here's the fabrication, and we want, oh, again, I'll go for it in a minute. So we're trying to make the electric furnace. Oh, it has a line of... Oh, yeah, you do have a line of sight on me. Okay. I, like, didn't gun for it because I didn't think it would actually see me, but I was very wrong. So the electric furnace needs steel and concrete mix. And, yeah, we are obviously going to need to work on that. We have some... Oh, and a storm. Of course, my luck, right? So we have some concrete mix that we had just mixed up. And if I'm stuck in here during a storm, I might as well just like mine out the cave's entryway for additional stone, because I'll make it, I'll put it to good use. The other thing I'm going to do is, oh, hi Storka. My, like, pets aggroed you, and then you were just like, yeah, but I'm looking for a harder fight, so let me go get insta-killed. So I'm telling Petters to follow me. Tall Paul is a lower level, and I want Tall Paul to catch up to Petters. I also want the, like, Sphere of Influence bonus that Ore of Warmth gives me. So I'm gonna have Tall Paul stand... Oh god, it's getting so loud. Right here. Come on. Just lie down. so that I'm not hypothermic in the cave. In fact, yeah, well, that's fine. So what we're doing is we're grinding out some concrete, and then I'm going to have to go make a big old batch of steel, and then start working on the electronics for the materials processor and the creature deterrent. And the reason why, and I mentioned this last stream, but the reason why the barrier to entry for the desert is the creature deterrent is there are parts of the desert that have insanely high spawn rates. The animals just will keep spawning and spawning and spawning, and you will get overwhelmed. And there's like no amount of... It's not reasonable, in other words. So what I want to do in preparation for that is to have a way to mitigate it. And in my opinion, the way to mitigate it would be to just deter the creatures from even coming to you. Just to clarify the way the creature deterrent works, the creature deterrent will prevent creatures from spawning within the area and from wandering into the area, but they do not stop creatures that are aggroed. So if you drag pissed off creatures home, the creature deterrent does nothing. It doesn't work like that. Think of it as like a high pitch frequency sonic thing that like is annoying. So if you round up like a whole bunch of enemies and drag them home, yeah, you're still gonna fight them. They're not gonna de-aggro or anything like that. But the creature deterrent will dramatically assist you in avoiding extra fights. And one of the nice things about it is you can turn it on and off at will. So if you want creatures, like let's say you want meat or leather or bone, turn it off, have your own pets like fight a whole bunch of creatures, and then once you've had your fill, you can turn the creature deterrent back on and prevent things from spawning adjacent. Okay, so we are working towards the furnace, and I need 20 more concrete. And we have 12 queued up here, so I need to queue up 8 more on top of that. And I'm out of silica ore, so that is the barrier now, silica. And then after we get the silica, I'll go ahead and round up material for the steel, which is going to be iron and... oh, you leveled up 2 more times. Nice. In fact... I'm going to set you to aggressive and follow me. You are at almost 100% health, so I'm not too worried about you getting hurt. I want my Tuskers to be as high level as possible. They're not really combat pets, but they're pretty useful in self-defense, so I think they're going to be pretty handy in like leveling it up a whole bunch. So that in the case that I get attacked in the desert, I've got some backup. Because I'm not going to be able to, like, defend myself against swarms of hostile creatures endlessly. They will eventually overwhelm me, so... That's, you know, that's what they're for. Dead Meat Gamer, thank you for the resub. Another thing that I think would be worth doing is to get a, some sort of drill on this site here. I have played a whole bunch since last stream, and one thing I've noticed, which is a current, well, basically, one thing I noticed is that titanium is in seriously high demand for tier 5 tech. Like, you need lots and lots of it. Like, some things need, like, 120 ingots of titanium, which is just a ridiculous amount of titanium. But titanium is also rather rare. It's kind of hard to find. So, deep drilling every possible site that I happen upon for titanium is probably in my best interest. So trying to get some sort of drill, either electrical or bio, fueled on that titanium site, probably electrical, before I leave, is going to save me a lot of time in the long run. It will delay my departure time, because obviously I'm going to have to set up like another wind turbine and drill for it. So obviously, yes, it will delay the time it takes for me to depart for the desert, but once I'm trying to work on tier 5 tech, it's going to be a massive difference. I will be able to rely on an income of titanium. And it's not, the desert is not that far from where I am here. I know the map isn't revealed, but I'm telling you it's worth it. So that's another thing that I would like to do. Oh, look, another cave that just resealed. And some of this is probably a consequence of, like, hot fixes. So since last week, there's been an update. The primary features of the update were, like, bug fixes. But they also added in forest wolf breeding. The thing is, I don't believe there are any forest wolves in all of Elysium, so it doesn't really pertain to me. But if you are on a map that has forest wolves, because there are snow wolves in Elysium, but I don't think there's forest wolves. Alright, you, Mr. Tallpaw, you hold my stuff. I'm going in. So we're looking for iron. Oh, there goes all my meat buffs. Got them back. We're looking for iron. So that it can make steel. The concrete furnace needs like 30 steel, which is a whole lot of iron. I can hear that worm trying to get line of sight on me. Oh, and I can hear Tallpaw throwing down with some Sturka or something. It probably wouldn't be unwise for me to grab gold and copper while I'm out here as well. Because gold and copper are the two resources primarily that go into electronics. As well as epoxy and resin. So that's going to be part of the grind for the match processor as well. So I might as well grab it while I'm here. And I know I left some upstairs, but... or top side of the... zone here. Alright, there's copper there. Don't destroy my ramp. That's rude. Plus, this pick of mine is, like, about to break. So, like, mining until it shatters, and then I'll repair it. Seems to be part of the plan, I suppose, as well. I don't even have a repair hammer. That's... you know what? There. Just replace it. Who needs to repair it? It's just some cheap thatch. No big deal. Alright, you ready to go? Oh, look at you! You leveled up a whole bunch. So Aura of Warmth is now unlocked, so I have, like, hypothermia protection. And then we'll start working towards, physical damage reduction. So you should follow me. What are my top 3 sandwiches? That's a good question. Not much of a sandwich eater. Maybe like egg salad, PB&J, and I don't even know what my third would be. Grilled cheese? Pretty simple sandwiches in the scheme of things. I did tell him to follow me, right? He's like trying to figure out what that means. I don't know. I have bones in the fire? That seems like a bad place for bones. Ooh, can I get this before it decays? It's at 1%. I did! It was at 0% when I, got the bones. Alright, Pettersk is level 27. Tallpaw has a long way to go to catch up. Yeah, I do have bones in the fire, don't I? Alright. So we have a bunch of iron ingots, which I could also turn into steel if I wanted. Oh, and Tallpaw has my coal. I don't want to use my charcoal for it if I can help it. Tall Paul, I told you not to follow me or something? Oh, no, you're following. You're just, like, taking the scenic route, let's say. Or you were beating people up. Maybe not so much people as animals, but whatever. Have I had a grilled PB&J? Yeah, of course. You forgot about egg salad? Yeah, I make egg salad for the toddler often. And for myself, I actually just had one. Pretty solid choice. As far as sandwiches go, it's pretty high protein for, you know, for not having meat in it, I would say. Alright, so 23 of the 30 steel I require. I believe it's 30. And then I needed 8 more concrete from here. Cool. Well, that means everything for the electric furnace is basically done. And I'm going to want to move one of those blooms up. Cut in the queue here, because my pick is, like, about to fall apart. And we're not going to be able to do any additional mining if it does. Okay, so furnace is just about done. And then we're going to have to work on the materials for the material processor. But here is the electric furnace. We've got all the concrete now and almost all the steel. In fact, I think what I'll do is just turn some of the ingots I've got into steel. Not all of them, because sometimes I just want iron to, like, repair my tools or whatever. But yeah, all right, we have all the materials we now need for that. Already acquired. Perfect. Knowing what I know, I think I am going to pivot briefly. And work towards getting the electric deep mining drill. Because I know that the next tier of stuff requires so much titanium that delaying my departure is worth it. Now, the thing about this is it requires 2,000 electricity, which is a little bit more than what a wind turbine can supply. So either we can make 2 wind turbines, which, I mean, wind turbines are not that expensive, or we can, like, run it partial. So the current priority right now is to deep drill titanium. So we've got almost all the titanium ingots for the drill itself. I certainly have the aluminum over here. And then we'll just need a little bit of carbon fiber, and we'll be good. It's really not that high of a cost, but it will definitely pay back a lot of dividends. Because that was my least favorite part about using Tier 5 technology, is just, like, the immense, absolutely mind-boggling amount of titanium that it all requires. It's ridiculous. So, we'll need 5 carbon... actually, for the drill itself, 8 carbon fiber. And then for the wind turbine, it's going to be another 5. Which, I think I'm running out of resin? Or epoxy? And we can make epoxy with sulfur and tree sap if we need to. That would be an alternative route that will work. But here's all the steel needed for the electric furnace. But I'm borrowing some of the materials that we were amassing for the furnace for the drill. Because the electric furnace, until I have materials processor, doesn't really do anything for me. But the drill will help immediately. Which is why I think it's worth doing right now. Now, there is some titanium in the queue here to be smelted, but, like, not a lot. Obviously, it's like a tiny fraction of what I'll end up needing. All right, what's going on out here? You're still chilling? I'm going to feed you And water you. And then I'm going to check on the health of Talpal. Because he is... Yeah, I'm going to help him out. He's getting a little overwhelmed. And would need a bit of a break. Oh, no. Stop it. Oh, my God. You, defensively. Because one of the issues is, these types of mounts don't have, like, a res ability. Right? They don't, they can't, like, self-res or whatever. Or, not res, but, heal. They don't do, like, heal on damage or anything like that, so... He was definitely getting... He needs some R&R. I don't want to lose another one, in other words. And there's a lot of creatures... Well, not the Storkus and the Gribblers, but the other Tusker that's here... We won't pick a fight with. Necessarily. Will this pick survive? Probably not. Mach 1 Fireman. Thank you for the resub too. Okay, you keep following me. You are really bad at following orders. Wait, where'd you go? Oh, no. You're good at following orders. I'm bad at noticing that you're following the orders. Got it. Bit different. Alright, you stay here defensively. And... I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is... set up the drill right now. With the wind turbine I have outside. And then make another wind turbine to replace it. That's how much I'm going to want the titanium. Like, more than I even want. Because right now, all that wind turbine outside is powering a advanced alteration bench that I'm, like, not using at the moment. So I don't, like, need it right now. So, getting the drill set up instead seems a smarter use of the material. So for that, I need the electricity tool and the drill itself, and we already got that. Now this thing is starting to take damage. Do I have a hammer anywhere? I don't recall making a repair hammer, but that's the a lot of the electricity generation in the game will have maintenance required. So for instance, the wind turbines when it storms will take damage and will need to be periodically repaired. So that's just their running cost. Let's see here. Iron hammer. Yeah, I'll opt for one of those. So we need some leather and some wood. I guess there's wood here. There we go. Did I even need the wood? Oh, was there wood? There was wood on the anvil. That explains it. Drill, baby, drill. Alright, so we got the hammer. Good. Perfect. Might as well repair it now that I'm staring at it. And let's get this set up. So, last stream we had marked that there was a titanium site over here. Outside, not in a cave. That could be tapped for deep site for titanium. And, yeah, absolutely going to exploit that. And that's another thing I should be doing is surveying all the caves to figure out what deep ores they have. So I've been doing a little bit of that. I know in my own cave we've got iron and copper. But unless it's titanium, I really don't care. I don't see myself needing any other real materials other than titanium for now. Eventually uranium, but like, yeah. Alright, this says it cannot be sheltered to run. I think it might... No, it's not sheltered. Okay. So what's going to end up happening here is it's only operating at 90% speed as a result of only having less power. But 90% is still pretty good. I don't think... We could hook up a second wind turbine to it. But at 90%, it's doing 90% of the work. The second wind turbine. And when storms happen, it will whittle that down a little bit. So that 90% will get reduced for every storm that the wind turbine has to endure. So there is maybe a reason to have a second wind turbine because they're pretty cheap eventually, just so that it becomes more stormproof. But for now, that's fine. I'm okay with it being the way it is. Alright, one of the reasons why I'm in this cave is to try to figure out if there's any deep sites. And then also just get the remaining materials that are here. Come on. Good enough. So in here, what do we got? Well, I might as well take this for the steel making and for combustion. I don't really see any deep drill sites in here, which is odd. Most caves have them. Is this one like underwater? So we have some more iron that was like hiding in the water. And I know I'm going to get hypothermic, but it's fine. Also, I have no idea why I have two of the same types of meat stacked as if they're not. Once we have the materials processor and electronic furnace, one of the other technologies that is really cheap to build, once you have the required materials, interestingly enough, is the prototype thumper, which allows you to regenerate voxels within like 100 or so meters of the thumper. I probably don't have the combat pets to be able to like easily thump without consequences, because you will face swarms of stuff when you're thumping, and it's way easier to survive the thumping when you have combat pets. But that's another technology that we could potentially take advantage of. I'm going to do one more pass in this cave before dropping this stuff onto the furnace, but I'm kind of surprised I didn't see any deep mining sites in here. But I really don't. There weren't any down below. There aren't any up here. Yeah, I think this doesn't have deep mining. Whoa, almost missed. For a relatively big cave, that's unusual. So at this point, what we need is to get another wind turbine up, and then the furnace. Now that we have the titanium drill set up, and I'll update the priorities to reflect that in just a moment. So current priority, build wind turbine and elect furnace. So the wind turbine required more epoxy for the carbon fiber. So I'm missing copper and 5 carbon fiber and the aluminum. And then the coal I mined is in here, that's fine. Oh, no, we have all the materials, perfect. So I have 5 more of those. So the aluminum ingots, we just have enough materials for, but that's another material that I need to go for. And I know there's a little bit more in the adjacent cave, but that's going to be yet another thing to go after as a result. Also haven't picked my new talent point. Ooh, let's see. I was investing in mutations, genetics, because I do intend, as soon as I get out to the desert, to start taming some raptors. So, yeah, let's do more genetics. Sounds reasonable. There's plenty of charcoal in that still. Perfect. And then this fire is cooking up, like, way more meat than I'm using. I do have 4 stomach slots, and I'm really only using 3 of them. I could get, like, mushrooms, but the thing is, unless the extra food is giving me an XP bonus, which is mostly prime meats, it, in my opinion, doesn't really matter, because all it's going to do is give me a little bit more stamina or a little bit more strength, and I'd rather spend time on other things. So I know that I am missing a bonus from food, but it's not one that, like, I particularly, I think is going to be, I can live without. Okay, so we'll need 7 more electronics to be able to, because we just spent some on the wind turbine, 7 more electronics to build the furnace. But that furnace should be underway in just a moment. There we go. Wind turbine. Next one is up. Another thing is when you're building big things, like significant parts of your base or whatever, it's definitely handy to continue petting your pets so that they gain some of the experience for those builds. So looking at this, it looks like organic resin is going to quickly become my bottleneck, because I have a lot of gold and I have a lot of copper that I've already acquired. But organic resin is pretty low. And that's just wood and oxide. And that's going to be a lot easier for me to gain in the tundra than it will be in the desert. In the desert, there's virtually no trees, which is all the more reason why, and I said this before, but the reason why I'm going to have to get, oh boy, okay, you are going to be aggressive. Stay. But go on, go help. Do you, okay, there you go. I don't really know why the Tusker got involved. I think they have a pretty identical behavior to the buffalo, where, like, they aren't attack on sight, but if there's any fighting around them, they get, like, pissy, and they join. But yeah, Tall Paul, we could have avoided that fight. I don't want to lose another pet. All the reason to get combat pets and combat mounts as soon as possible. Because Tuskers really ought not to be doing the fighting. In fact, I would go so far as to say they're like the inferior version in some ways to the buffalo. Because a Tusker, unlike a buffalo... Oh god, I don't need to do that. A Tusker, unlike a buffalo, doesn't have, like, the stomping that the buffaloes do. Where buffaloes can stomp and lower enemies' damage, and, like, Tuskers don't have that. And that's a really nice one to keep the enemy animals from, like, overwhelming you. In terms of, like, sheer number or whatever. Alright, here is the electric furnace. Ba-boom. I'm not really planning on using the electric furnace over the concrete one, because I don't generate a lot of power. Meaning that this thing is only really going to process composites. So the next thing, now we built both of those, is build the materials processor. And the materials processor is just a ton of electronics. It's yet another electronics grind. we're getting pretty close to our goalpost of having finally composites, and then once we have composites, we'll have the ability to make the creature deterrent, which requires 15 composites. We also might want to pair that with like a battery at some point, because things like the materials processor and the electronic furnace will use a lot of power periodically, and it's good to like to bank a whole lot of power for when it like you have surge usage. All right. So it looks like organic resin is our bottleneck at the moment. And after I throw this carbon fiber in, I'll start to get the organic resin. And for that, we're mostly going to need, basically 60 electronics. That's the real grind. Which is a lot of copper, a lot of gold, a lot of organic resin, a lot of epoxy. And then, the rest of the materials processor is a little bit of aluminum, pretty insignificant. Steel screws, very insignificant. Carbon fiber, which we already have 5/8 of. And then titanium plates, 3. Which we now have a titanium drill. So that's going to help out with. So the way they make the plates is you take 3 ingots and you smash them into a plate on the fabricator. So it is rather expensive. And almost all the tier 5 tech requires like an immense amount of titanium plates. Like they all do. And this is why I wanted to get the titanium drill. So if you take a look here, the manufacturer requires 10 plates, which is like reasonable, but not too high. The pump jack requires 10. The oil refinery requires 20. The polymizer requires 20. The uranium extraction requires 40. The nuclear centrifuge requires 40. The landing pad requires 40. Like, as you can see, everything is just titanium plate, titanium plate, titanium plate. And it becomes quite the need of titanium. And the thing is, I found anecdotally, and maybe it's just my luck of the multiple worlds that I've been playing for Elysium, but like, titanium is a rather rare resource. It seems. I could be wrong, but I don't find it very often. In the 2 playthroughs I've got going, one for Steam or one for stream and one for learning, which says to me that like that's the struggle, is to acquire the requisite titanium to get all the nice things that you want. So that's something that we'll have to deal with, obviously. So right now, what I'm going to do is get some more oxide and make some organic resin and just keep chipping away at that electronics requirement. I may also need to seek out a new cave, because I know the 2 caves one cave still has like 1 unit of aluminum left, and then like 1 unit of platinum. Well, like the cave I'm in is basically stripped bare. And then some of the other caves that we've happened upon here are like complete traps. They're like death traps, because they're vertical pit drops. So we could exploit them, but like I'd rather find somewhere safer, because I don't really want to fall to my doom. Surprisingly, that sounds unfun to me. And the sulfur is to make epoxy, because tree sap plus sulfur is epoxy, and that's tree sap is everywhere. I can make hordes of tree sap just cutting down a tree. Yeah, let's do that now, actually. I was talking about nuclear energy and I'm outside with a bow. Yeah. True. Although, in the near future, probably in the next hour, I'll guess, I intend to go from bow to handgun, if that's any indicator of the direction I'm taking. All right, let's get this material processed, crank out as many electronics as we can, and then get back to work. You love rope ladders and Vintage Story? This game has something similar. They're in the wood workshop, or in the carpentry bench, rather. You can have vertical ladders. I don't usually build a lot of vertical ladders because the vertical ladders are expensive copper-wise. They require copper nails, and they're heavier, and you can't make them on the fly because they're a carpentry bench only thing. So if you know you're going to have to deal with like super vertical caves, they do make sense to like prepare it ahead of time. But I tend not to use them too much just because of their cost, and you have to like premeditate needing them, which I am kind of winging everything all the time. All right. So, yep, bottleneck is epoxy. Got it. We have a lot of epoxy over here. Actually. It's organic resin for there. Okay, so we're going to grab some of the organic resin. And let's see how this goes. 16 more electronics. Not bad. And we're running out of copper, which we have lots of ingots of. So lots of gold. And we'll need about 3 parts copper to 1 part gold. The ratio for electronics. So, you know, that's what we're aiming to obtain. I've completely filled up this mortar and pestle with like Q. Yep. Sounds reasonable. All the tree sap. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus Elysium, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow prospectors.